Hello, I'm back. This is part two of the experience. Okay, I left off describing the products that I'm gonna be trying next week. And I'm sorry, I just wanted to do a re-review of the buttercream, the curly buttercream before I forget. This is also good for relaxed styles. Okay, it is good as a moisturizer to moisturize your hair, your edges, lay down your edges, and also as a detangler for children. It also comes in a baby buttercream, which is excellent for babies if you want to detangle and have them get extra added moisturization. This is good for that. So I just wanted to add that in. All right, now let's talk about the experience. Okay, like I said before, I had went online to to do like a deeper review or research on the products in general to see what the company had to say and what other users of the product had to say. And I must say all the reviews were great. Give or take a few, but I mean with the listed ingredients that's in there, I already knew that it was a good product because I too make a product called Black Gold, and it's essentially oils, all natural, shea butter, cocoa butter, mango butter. If you look at one of my videos, I'll go into a little bit more depth about that. Um, so basically, I kind of knew from that it was a fairly good product. Also, the other thing that I wanted to mention is that I also went online to see if was there any way that they had any participating retailers that I can just go and purchase it instead of having to order it online, because of the fact that when I order stuff, UPS, if my husband and I are not here, they will leave the stuff in front of my door with no note or anything to say, I'm sorry, we attempted to make a delivery, but you weren't home, so we left it with your neighbor next door. None of that. They would literally leave it in front of my door, okay? And thank God that I have a very nice neighbor who always, gets our deliveries and bring them in his apartment until we come home, and then he knocks on the door and gives it to us. Mind you, we live in an apartment building, a huge apartment building. So anybody that sees stuff laying on in front of somebody's door, I mean, thank God it hasn't happened. But I'm sure someone will see it and take it and claim it as their own. And what proof do we have to say that we received it or we didn't receive it? Even though we're waiting or we're not waiting, because a lot of times we receive packages unaware of where they came from because we didn't order anything. But I guess because we're always buying, purchasing, and going places and just doing stuff. So I guess a lot of people, they send us stuff, to come back, custom, I don't know, but I mean, we receive a lot of stuff in the mail, and most of the times it's at a neighbor's house because he done picked it up from in front of our door. So that's one of the reasons why I don't like ordering stuff online. And not only that, but I wanted to have the product in my hand because when I take this down next week, I want to have it ready, available for for use, so for application. So that's another reason why I had preferred to purchase it from the local retailer. Um, so when I went on Miss Jessie's line, I saw that she was having a promotion, buy one get one free. So I was like, oh wow, because I was leaning more towards purchasing only the kinky custard, the kinky curl, because I was more like leaning towards that because to me it seemed like a more easier application because you wash your hair, you clarify, you get all the oils out according to the instructions. You cannot have any type of oils, glycerin, or anything because it will make the hair frizzy. So you have to wash it out, put in the leave-in conditioner, which is the Not Today as I described before, and then apply the curling custard to either slightly damp or wet hair, dripping wet hair. So to me, that was a no-brainer. I said I can do that. That's not too much, and a little bit of manipulation, that's fine. But the curly buttercream is basically the same thing, but you just apply it to dry hair. But the thing is, you have to twist it or braid it or do you have to do something in order to formulate the curl pattern. It's not going to do it on its own. So that was one of the reasons why I was leaning more to the kinky curl because it was less manipulation, less styling that I had to do to my hair. So anyway, but when I saw the 50% off sale, I was like, okay, I'll go with that because I saw that like one little jar of maybe 10 ounces was $22. So I was like, all right, we can do that. I can do the buy one get one free. So anyway, I called the company, like I said before, to see if there was any local retailers in my state, which I live in New York, Harlem, New York, to see if there were any, like local retailers in the area that was also selling it and were they also having a promotion. So the representative told me, as long as they sell it, they have to have the promotion. So I was like, okay, fine. So I went to the, I called the store to see if they had the products, and it did. So my son and I, we went, and I was able to get all the products. But when I got to the cashier, I asked her, I said, are you aware that these are 50% off? Because I see they had a 20% off all beauty products and hair products, but I didn't see the 50% off sale for the Mrs. Jessie's product. So she said, well, she said, not to my knowledge, but she looked at me kind of weirdly, like, oh, 50% off. Did you see the prices on these? So I'm like, okay. So she went to the manager to confirm, where they having a 50% off sale. So he told her, no, not as yet. They didn't send the promotional items as yet. So I'm like, well, the promotion, from what I read, what I saw on the website, and what the what the representative of the company told me, that the sale started as of the 26th and it goes out until the 31st. So, if you're a company, I didn't know different companies have different sale, dates or whatever the case may be. So he was like, no, not only that, but they didn't send us the promotional sale items to put on. And I'm like, to me, it just sounded like a whole bunch of game, okay? So I said, you know what? Being that I am an informed customer, and the customer is always right, I'm not even going to debate with him, because as long as I know I had the company behind me to back up what I'm telling him, I'm good with that. So I called the company and I explained to them the dilemma I was having, and I let him think that I was a uninformed customer, like what he was telling me was actually going to sit with me, and I was just going to call. And I called to pretend like I wanted them to direct me to another local retailer, but all in all, I was calling to put him on blast, but he didn't know what I was doing. Like, he assumed I didn't know what he was doing. So anyway, so I called the company and I explained to them, and the representative was like, okay, well, let's investigate that, because that's not the way it's supposed to work. And I said, well, that's what I thought, but you know what? I'm just a customer, and I'm just calling to see if maybe you can help me out with this. So anyway, he was like, hold on. So he was like, I'll be right back with you. Let me speak to somebody else. So what they did, they in turn called the store, because I can tell by the way the cashier was responding. I'm like, oh my goodness, they were really quick with that. So anyway, so they came back to the store. They was like, okay, everything is okay. To make a long story short, I got my Mrs. Jessie's buy one get one free. Okay, now, the reason why I was in an uproar about it, but I didn't show it, was because these products are not cheap, people. The curly buttercream by itself is $59.99. The rapid recovery is $49.99. And the curly pudding and the curly meringue are both $39.99 a piece. Now, you tell me, was I wrong for calling the company to find out why they were not participating in that 50% off promo sale? But anyway, and on top of that, like I said, it was 20% off. And the Kinky curl was $25.99, and I think with the discount it came up to like $20. This was $9.99, which I got for $7. And these two was $12.99, which came up to like 10 and change a piece. The curly, this came down to like $47. And one was free, and the curly pudding came down to like $31. So it was a huge savings, because I would have spent like over $200, and I wound up saving like over $60, because it came up to like $143. But I just wanted to say, people that are users of this product, if you go to a local retailer, do not let them try to tell you that they're not a part of the promotion. Yes, they are. If they carry the product, they are a part of the promotion. You let them know that you are an informed customer, and you call the company right there in the store. You don't go outside. You don't go anywhere. You call the company and put them on blast, because that's what informed customers do, okay? And believe me, they will give you that buy one get one free.